So this year and in the coming months, we're going to be spending more time, more money on our viral marketing efforts, and we're very excited by it. So I'm going to just end with that and just tell you that what you already know, Robert is an extraordinary person who is taking on an extraordinary task. But I asked him, I said, bring the talents of Hollywood together with the ambitions of not only a nonprofit, but of the people that we represent. People who just want to participate in society, civic engagement, economic development, their own livelihood. And when you marry the power of the talent of the folks that he represents with the human spirit and the human ambition, amazing things happen. And I also want to thank the entire staff of One Economy, but also the actors who Robert will introduce who do extraordinary things in this series. So, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Robert Townsend, and thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you guys for coming out. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And Ms. Brazil for having us here and everybody here that made this event possible. I've been in the image game for, 20-something years now, creating images. My journey started when I was a little kid watching television, and I would see TV, and I never watched it with a prejudiced eye. I just loved television. But then one day when I grew up, I started to really watch television closely. Like I wanted to be Humphrey Bogart because he was, he was cool. He talked like that. I didn't notice the black people on television. They talk like this. You want me to get your luggage? And I started to notice that there was a difference. I started to notice that there were certain images that was being written, directed by somebody. Cut to the future. I've directed movies, television shows, sitcoms, variety shows, you name it. Then I meet this gentleman over there, Ray Ramsey, and he starts talking to me about the future. The future is broadband. The future is the internet because it's a click away. Life is a click away. Then he talked about, it's one thing to entertain people. It's another thing to educate people. It's one thing to tell a man, here's a meal. It's another thing to teach him to fish. A lot of people want a piece of the pie. What we're talking about is the recipe. So with One Economy and the V Studio, we began a journey a couple of years now. The first project to come out of that journey was Diary of a Single Mom. Ray started to share his vision. He said, Robert, it's not so much, it's the entertainment, but then we're going to create this thing called the toolbox. One of the characters on the show is trying to get her GED. Now, there may be some people at home that click the box and they haven't gotten their GED, but they're afraid to ask the questions. With this programming and with this site, pic.tv, you can click on the toolbox and find out all the questions and answers you need to know about getting your GED. One of the characters discovers a lump in her breast, and she has a scare. And one of the things that research has shown that a lot of people don't go to the doctor. In this toolbox, you can watch the show and enjoy the show, but then you can click and say, what are the symptoms, what are the signs, and kind of diagnose yourself on a whole nother level, and then reach out to a doctor. There's a character in the show that's a mentor that gives, advice to her. There's a box on the side that you can click and find mentors that will help you with your education, help you on all kind of levels. What we're talking about is the future, the superhighway. And in terms of being left behind a little bit, right now African Americans are not taking full advantage of what is there in that space. So a panel like today is really, really important and powerful to have a discussion because the future is about the cell phone, it's about the internet, it's about having access at your fingertips. There's a lot of stuff on television, but a lot of that stuff is negative. A lot of that stuff doesn't feed your spirit, feed your mind, give you tools that can make your life better. What we're talking about here is a revolution on that internet. It's right there within your fingertips. It's all there. Now who's going to step up and take that superhighway to the next level? And that's what the mission of One Economy and the V Studio is all about. Right now I'm going to show you a clip, and tonight is our big fundraiser gala. We'd love all of you to come. It is at the museum. It's going to start at 6 o'clock? 6:30, but because I know some people will be late, 6 o'clock. Love to see all of you there at 6 o'clock to come to the event. I'm going to show you a clip now of the first season, a recap. Well, there's two clips here. There's one clip to tell you a little bit about the V Studio and One Economy and what we're doing, and then you're going to see a clip recap of the first season of Diary of Single Mom. And then tonight, when you get there tonight, we're going to show 2 full episodes. And I'm going to introduce the cast after this, so I've got a special treat for you. Let's meet the cast from Diary of a Single Mom, starring as the character of Ocean Jackson. Please, Monica Calhoun. Starring as Lupe Ramirez, please welcome Valerie Ortiz. Starring as Peggy, Janice Lynn. Starring as Mike, my brother from the 5 Heartbeats, and David Ruffin from the Temptations, and Little Richard from the Little Richard Story, Leon. And I am blessed right now to have 2 cinematic icons that changed my life with their bodies of work. In alphabetical order, the one, the only, Mr. Richard Roundtree. Yeah. And playing Uncle Bo, the one, the only, do you want my arm to fall off? Mr. Billy D. Williams. So this is the first time we've had all the cast here together. For those of you that have seen, and tonight, like I said, we're having it at the Newseum tonight at 5:30. Just kidding. Because some of y'all be coming really late, the show be over with. So anyway, tonight at the Newseum, please get there at 6 o'clock. We have the cast here, and since I have Ray here and the cast here, and we're talking about new medium and working on this show, for those of you that have seen the show, I'm going to open it up right now to a panel discussion with the cast. You know, we're just going to talk for like 5 minutes since we have everybody here. Any questions you guys would like to ask the cast or about working on the show or anything? Any questions at all? Yes, sir, right here. What drew the cast to the project? Anybody?
Well, I'll go first.
Well, for me, it was Robert Townsend. The possibility of working with Robert I've always wanted to do, and then I read the script and I said it's a no-brainer.
That's exactly how I felt. I heard Robert Townsend's name and I said, I'm there. And then when I read the script, the playwright, screenwriter is Cheryl West, is absolute, to me, was the new Tennessee Williams, the new face of great American writing. So, and this has all been a gift and the dessert of working with it.
Other questions? Other questions? Yes, right here. Yes, my dear.
How do you all feel knowing that now you get the opportunity to reach even more people because your new medium that's accessible by a lot of folks?
It's amazing. It's an amazing feeling, and honestly, sitting over there in the corner trying to not be antisocial, but just I got bronchitis and I don't want to spook anybody. But sitting and watching the presentation, it's just amazing, and it brought tears to my eyes. Not just the portion of the project that I'm a part of, but just the overall, what it represents and what it means for that person that has a question, but they're too afraid to ask the person that's sitting next to them that has 1,000 degrees in so many different things. It was just an amazing feeling to be able to see that person that just learned to read, that they can click onto a link and it will explain steps that they just couldn't ask maybe their mother or their brother or their sister or their cousin, or they're just afraid to ask, or they just don't want to ask, but they can read it for themselves. The idea behind finding a person in a moving image written in a screenplay or a television format, somebody that a person can identify with, it's just amazing how much more can be reached, and I see more possibilities because it's...
We're just beginning. We're at the